Good afternoon, everybody. It is meteorologist Isabel forecasting, and welcome back to another weather update, guys. As you can tell the title, I'm going to be doing my first preliminary fall forecast. I do apologize for it being delayed a couple of times because I was supposed to do it earlier in late June, but as Barbara came in, all these invests came in, all these systems potentially hitting Hawaii, that I always had to delay it each day because that was the biggest deal at that time. But now that Barbara's weakening, it's a tropical storm now. As it's weakening, and as we have Cosme potentially having a chance though, but not really a huge threat being a major hurricane, I just found the time possibly doing my first preliminary fall forecast, guys. If you guys want to know what to expect this fall, the next couple, I want to be doing the 8 to 14 day outlook too, and then also showing the 3 months and all that. So if you guys want to know what to expect this fall, again, guys, it is very fall. Fall is very fall if you think about it. It's September 21st. That's very fall from now. All these things can change. It can go from warm weather to you based on these to maybe the day before fall going to a cold. So guys, again, this is not, it's a forecast, but it's still very far out. So don't think everything here is going to be exact. So guys, again, if you guys want to know what to expect this fall based on temperatures above average or below, precipitation, also expect a La Nina or El Nino, that'll come right up. Alright, everybody, as you can tell, I did make my own forecast for the fall. Sorry, excuse me. As you can tell, it does say temperature for forecast for this fall 2019. So as you can tell, the above average goes from a very slow, a very light colored orange to a moderate orange to a red, and then below average is light blue, moderate blue, and dark blue. As you can tell, it's not looking like we're going to have really a below average really anywhere. It's looking to be a very warm fall this year. As you can tell, we're going to have very warm temperatures out here. We're going to have widespread, here, let me get a different color, guys. So as you can tell, oops, stop, I meant to put a different color. As you can tell, we're going to have a big area of slightly above average, coast to coast. Basically, we're going to have all the way parts of North Carolina, all the way to parts of the near that San Francisco area. These areas in the light orange could be up to maybe 0 to 1 degrees. So it's going to be not really a huge threat of above average. It's not going to be very hot there. It could actually be average in some areas, but this is what it's looking like right now. You guys are going to see with the other models. Some of these areas up here can actually turn to average right here, but the colors, again, that we do see with no colors are average based on all the models we've been seeing. And not all the models are showing it being average, but the majority, including the Midwest and all these areas. So these areas in the light orange, again, could be to 0 to possibly 1 degrees above average. And these in the moderate or the medium orange, we do have two areas. It's going to be parts of the western part of the country. Western part of the country there, and parts of the eastern part of the country. And also going to be right here too, for parts of the mountains of near the San Francisco area. So this is actually where it can be 2 to 3 degrees above average there. This is going to be for the majority of time. It's not always going to be above average every single day for the fall, guys. This is just a majority of the days, the average of all the days during fall, all the way to the end of the 21st of December. Guys, you can actually be below average for a whole week in fall, but it could still be 2 to 3 degrees above average for the majority. So it does not mean you're going to be above average every single day, but we can see, based on this orange is supposed to be 2 to 3 degrees above average. This is going to be for some areas in North Carolina, parts of the Ohio Valley, West Virginia, Washington, D.C. area, most of the eastern part of New York City there, or New York, and then we do have another area out here that does have another orange area that can see 2 to 3 degrees above average. Most of the Utah area, Arizona, the western part of Colorado, the mountains of Idaho, Helena, Montana, and then also parts of the Bay Area for the San Francisco area. Now that we covered that, we're going to be looking at the darkest color, the red. That's where we can actually, guys, get to a surprising 3 to 5 degrees above average. But, guys, again, it could actually be warmer and it could also be colder. Again, it's all average for all the days of the season of fall. We're going to have two areas up into the New England area and also for the western coast area. So this is, again, 3 to 5 degrees above average. We're going to have very warm very warm temperatures out there for the southwest, including Nevada, parts not very close to the Four Corners there, but we're going to get Las Vegas in there. Again, Hollywood and Los Angeles should be okay with that. We're going to have Seattle and Portland in there. We're going to have a lot of areas in Washington and Oregon and Northern California up there. Very warm for the next couple of months there. It's just going to be very warm for those areas, really. It's going to have that ridge blocking that area. So that's why we're currently having very cold temperatures out there for the plains and Midwest. And then we do have potentially 3 to 5 degrees above average, for the New England area. Actually, potentially for the New York City area, it's right there. New York City area can be 3 to 5 degrees above average. Not really the most common you've seen there, but we do have for all the Boston area, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Connecticut, the Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine area. That's all looking to have 3 to 5 degrees above average. Now we're going to be looking at the precipitation. So this is precipitation forecast for this fall 2019. As you can tell, we do have potentially above average precipitation, not really looking below average. There's not going to be a huge threat for below average this fall, honestly. It is going to be warm and dry. It's going to be, this can actually be, this area for the western part of the country could be dry, but it's not going to be like a drought threat. It's just not going to be raining there for a lot, but it's not necessarily going to be below average. These areas are going to see some rain out there for early June there. Early fall, but again, not necessarily going to be above average. So all these areas that are no color could be average, or slightly above average, or slightly below average. But based on this, it's average for now. Again, all this can change, guys. So in this light green, we do have slightly above average precipitation for many areas, including mostly the plains in the southern part of the country. We're going to stretch all the way from the Columbus, Georgia area all the way to San Diego. We're going to have parts of Nevada, northern Utah, parts of northern Nebraska and South Dakota, and most of the southeast and south central could finally have their above average precipitation now. And then we do have the above average precipitation there. It's supposed to be this color, but it's not a perfect color there. So this is going to be for above average. So that's going to be including for northern parts of Texas, parts of the Four Corners, and the Central Plains and Southern Plains, and most of Colorado. It could stretch into parts of Wyoming. Some models do show the above average precipitation getting for northern Utah and for majority of Wyoming, but it's not looking like there for a majority of the models though. So guys, now that we saw my forecast, we're going to be looking at some models. Alright guys, for those people who do not know what El Nino is, this is what El Nino. This is when we have those most warmest temperatures on the coast of South Carolina, of Colombia, of Peru, of Chile. That's where we're going to have those warmest temperatures off the coast, and then the cooler temperatures in Central Pacific. So this is what El Nino will bring. I just explained what El Nino is based on the Pacific, but so what's this going to bring? So we're going to have a jet stream that's going to bring it warmer temperatures for most of the western part of the country there, in the northern part for the northern plains, the northwest. That's where we're going to have potentially 3 to 5 degrees above average for Washington, Oregon, and Idaho areas. So that's going to bring very warm conditions out here for parts of the northern part of the country there. And then we will have a dry area here for parts of the Ohio Valley and the southern Midwest. So that's what the jet stream is. In the subtropical jet stream, which means that's where the close it is to the El Nino. This green is where we're going to have this we're going to have very wet conditions here, above average precipitation there. We did see it there on my forecast. And El Nino is currently happening right now. It is currently right now an El Nino, and it does have a 50 to 55% chance continuing to the fall and winter months. But there is a lot of controversy of an La Nina starting to get its more energy, looking like we're going to have a more La Nina based on what we're seeing based on right now. But again, very far out both. Based on this, it is kind of looking like we're going to have a La Nina, but I'm going to be explaining both of what El Nino and La Nina is. And so it's going to bring the wet for parts of the southern part of the country, southwest. And then we're gonna have cool temperatures out here in this blue for the southern part of the country. And if you guys want to know why El Nino is famous for bringing a lot of a lot of snow for the southern Ozarks and parts of the south central, it's because all the dries out here. You're not gonna see above average snowfall here. You're still gonna have a lot of snow because it's the northern part of the country. But we're gonna have all this moisture come in and meet with this cool, and usually that's when it brings in snow. So when this wet temperatures or these wet conditions come and meet and conjoin with the cool, it's going to most likely bring in a lot of snow for these areas, including parts of the Oklahoma area, parts of South Central Texas area, Louisiana, and the Southeast. And that's going to bring mostly these dry conditions here. We're still going to have snowfalls here, and then potentially that can bring in these huge snowstorms that could bring in some nor'easters that do form out here in parts of the Texas area and do move up the coast for parts of the northeast and mid-Atlantic. So that's what El Nino looks like. Now we look at La Nina. So La Nina is the opposite. It does bring in warm temperatures and dry temperatures right here. So we're going to have dry conditions for the southwest, not going to be above average now, and we're going to have warmer conditions out here for the southeast instead of cool. Then we're going to have the wet going to be out here for the Ohio Valley instead of dry, and then we're going to have these cooler temperatures come up for the northern part of the country. So that's where we're going to have below average temperatures, not above average really necessarily snowfall. And then we will have wet conditions out here for the Seattle area. That's where we do have above average precipitation. A lot of rain for La Nina there. But if you guys are wondering, isn't La Nina really bringing a lot of snow for these Midwest areas and northern plains? Yes and no also. Because this is also kind of something new you really need to think about. La Nina also brings this cool air, this very cold air, and it does meet with this wet. And I know, guys, it does say warm and dry for the south, but unlike El Nino, like the wet and the cool do not meet in the north, but both times the cool and the wet do meet necessarily in the eastern part of the country, El Nino and La Nina. So when that cooler air does meet with that wet, it does really bring in some snow for a lot of areas out here. Let me do that. It does bring in a lot of snow for these areas. It does not go all the way super south here. Let me do this. It doesn't go really super duper south like an El Nino does, but it still does bring in some snow for the southeast, for parts of the Ohio Valley, necessarily the Midwest and the Ohio Valley, and it could bring in some major nor'easters if we have a La Nina. So guys, if you think about it, if you're in the southeast and the south, really you could go for El Nino and La Nina, but La Nina doesn't bring really that big amount of snow, but it does bring in some snow for those areas. So that's La Nina. Now we'll be looking at the 8 to 14 day outlook, guys. Now that I explained all that stuff, again, we cannot say if La Nina or El Nino this fall yet. We still can't say. I still can't make my models right now for who can have the coolest fall right now, because we still do not know really necessarily if it's going to be La Nina or El Nino. There's a lot of controversy. Honestly, it can be 50-50 at this point. So guys, if we look at the 8 to 14 days now, we do have a lot of majority of the country above average, except the Ohio Valley area and the Midwest, like I did show you guys. We're going to have the warmer temperatures out here for the western part of the country and for the Texas area. That's going to be up to 2 to 5 degrees above average. And then these other areas right here in this smaller shades of orange, we could actually have 1 to 3 for some areas in the coast to coast, actually northeast, all the way to the west coast. So we will have widespread above average temperatures. Again, not looking like we're going to have coolest temperatures right now. We will have a cool summer again, but guys, we are not really focusing on the summer. And that 8 to 14 day outlook for precipitation, we do have it for the northern part of the country, for the eastern coast, and for the southeast. It's going to be a weird kind of looking thing. And then in between that, we will have dry conditions for the Ohio Valley area. And then we do have dry conditions out here currently right now for the southwest and the south central, especially for this Utah area and southern tip of Texas. And then we will have above average precipitation right now for the west coast. Now that we checked out, now we'll be looking at the 3-month outlook. This is going to be going all the way to November. So this is what I've been looking at. Not only this model, but many other models. But I'm going to be showing a couple because I really do not want to make this really a very super duper long video. So guys, as you can tell, I do think we will have average temperatures for these areas right here. And this, if you guys are in this circle, I do believe you guys can have very near average temperatures right here. Because you guys currently on this, you do have slightly above average. Again, not really a huge threat though. we for sure we will have above average temperatures for the East Coast, and obviously for the Southwest and for the western part. But looking like we're gonna have the warm temperatures out here for the parts of the Northeast, and also potentially for parts of the west part. I do think we would have some warmer temperatures out here for the sorry, I do think we will have. We did have warmer temperatures out here for the Northwest, because it currently is looking like we will. We do currently have El Nino, so I'm just going to be based on that. But again, all this can change. I will try to have my second preliminary fall forecast next month. So this is based on temperatures, and then precipitation. We will have slightly above average precipitation for parts of the plains and south central, and then the most above average precipitation for that southwest and southern plains. Again, like I did having my own model too, we will not have really a big area or any areas really with above average or below average precipitation. Sorry. Again, if you're in the white, you do have a probability of having average. Again, if you are average, if it's a very low chance for average, you can have either above average or below. That's what really kind of messes with people that are average, because they can have three options: slightly above, slightly below, or average. So that's what it kind of really does suck if you guys are in the average area. Really can expect right now. Now, quickly give me a look. I know this is not going all the way into the fall months, guys. I really do know that. But I want to give you guys in general a look at what it's going to be looking like when it gets closer to fall. It's going to go all the way to end of August, so getting very close to September. I know, again, it's not showing the fall months. I just really want you guys to see what it's looking like as it goes closer. So the next couple of days, we will have the cold temperatures out here for parts of the western coast up to 5 degrees below average. But we're going to be skipping all of this. We're going to be getting more to the August. So the 4th of August, we will having these colder temperatures out here for parts of the northeast and parts of the plains. And then we do have these warmer temperatures out there for the southwest. If we go all the way to the 14th of August, we will have these below average temperatures out here for parts of the northeast, and majority for parts of the parts of the western part of the country. And then we do have scattered little areas for above average. Again, so that's what it's showing like as we do get to closer to the September months or September days. We really can't really have we don't have a huge area to say what can be above average or below average, because you do see we do have scattered little areas right here for the northeast, for the plains, south central, and then we have scattered little areas for the colder temperatures. Now we're going to be doing the same thing with the precipitation. We're going to be skipping all through majority of July, all the way to the beginning of August. We will have scattered little areas that have above average precipitation, and then scattered little areas that have below. So same thing with the precipitation. Because honestly, guys, all these models really go based on if it's La Nina or El Nino. So honestly, as we go closer into September, we really can't say anything with these models. At the 18th of August, we do have a very scattered little, very small areas of above average or below. So guys, we can't really say anything right now. So that's why I also did choose to do a bit later instead of late June. I should have it out maybe beginning of August, or the middle part of August. I really don't know when I'm going to have my second preliminary forecast, but it will be possibly in the beginning part of August, so you guys have some time to think about it. And then I could have my final and third preliminary forecast maybe a couple days before fall. So guys, I hope you guys did enjoy this forecast. I know it didn't really give you as much information as you guys really expected. But again, guys, it's a couple months away, really. You can't have a lot of models that show you exactly what's going to happen. So guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. And please do not forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And see you guys next time. Bye.